How you doing, Trinity? How you doing?
I love it. I love it. That
Love
was
it.
so fly. Yep. That was good energy right there.
Yes, ma'am.
With the
Yes, ma'am.
tinkle in the background.
What I'm talking about. Nice vibe.
Yeah, you let that ride out.
That's what it's all about. You can feel this void in them.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it's about. It's about the right kind of energy, the energy that clicks, the energy that calms the soul. And
Right.
that's the vibe, that's the energy that we want to give off because that's the energy that's needed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Most definitely. So many people going through so much trauma and they
Mhm.
don't know why and how to release it. You know, you need every peaceful moment. That's why I teach meditation because it keep me in a calm state.
Yeah. Yeah, me
Hmm.
too. Me too.
Yeah. And I want to say hello, and we got a nice show for y'all tonight, and
Mhm.
it's all about energy, divine energy. You know, um, the feminine and masculine energy. You know, without the two aspects of the one, it wouldn't even be a universe. So, Trinity, tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel.
Yes, I am Trinity. I am the founder of Divine Alignment, which is a platform to help you have self awareness over who you are and the world around you. Because the most important thing that we need to know and we need to understand is how your mind works. If you don't understand how your mind works and who you are outside of being a hue of a man, if you don't understand how your mind functions, how your body functions, someone else does. And they will use it. And a lot
Yep.
of people are programmed and
Mhm.
they are unconsciously making choices based on programming that was given to them. And they need to wake up and they want to wake up, but they don't know how. They don't know the type of information to wake up. And so my platform teaches the matrix, which are a network of systems that are designed to influence your mind and control your behavior. And so I teach what the matrix is so that way you can see how your mind works and how you're being programmed. So that way you can break free and separate yourself through self awareness. And I teach you who you are, what you are, so you can discover your purpose, your mission, and your passion.
All right. All right.
And so that's divine alignment. And I'm Trinity. I'm here to guide you to the other side.
That's right. So you got nice clips. I see a lot of clips, and that was one of the reasons what caught my attention and brought us together. You know, and I'm so
Hmm.
glad it did. Yeah, I'm so glad it did. It's a beautiful union. And speaking of masculine and feminine energy, that is the only way you produce. That is the
Yeah.
only way you produce. You
Hmm.
know, and that is the way we have to look at things and in the structure of things. And a lot of people don't realize how much energy is built up between the masculine and the feminine. They run from it. It's like us a fear, you know, and
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of that is due to the fact that the information is not told, it's not taught in the education system. So we go half our lives through the education system and never taught about metaphysics, never taught about how we function as energetic beings and the differences between feminine principles and masculine principles and what it
mhm,
means and how it relates to us. That type of information is there, but it was not taught to us intentionally. Because if we understood how we function, if we understood our principles, universal principles, we would not need their systems.
Right, right. And people will build more lasting relationships too, because
Yes,
uh,
yes.
the principles will be there, you know. And I got a lot of people that feel the same way on the thumbnail, as you can see. And this is one of the beautiful things that uh, the universe gave us, you know. And the
Mhm.
union, what I believe that the universe is showing us the union between man and the whole entire universe, the big scope of things, you know. And that's what we have to understand, that the universe have both, but it's just one energy,
Mhm.
because as as above, so below.
Yes.
If it's masculine and feminine energy roaming around in these physical forms, then you
Mhm.
better believe in the cosmos is masculine and feminine energy there too. What you think about that?
Well, there's truth to that. And our ancestors, you see here, I studied ancient Kemet and I studied our ancient ancestors and what they thought and how they revered the sun. The sun is a representation of both forces, positive and negative, masculine and feminine, coming together and shining light and making all of creation.
Mhm.
Because when you look at the sun, in the middle of the sun is a black dot. The
Mm,
black dot represents the feminine principle, which is the dark matter. The black dot, that is the swirling dot that is attracting dark matter, because that's what the feminine principle does. It attracts. And what you see on the outside of the sun is the radiance, the light, the seeds, the masculine energy that emits the everlasting, steady, constant, steady light energy is the masculine energy. And when
mhm,
both are shining or both are together in a certain distance from the sun, it creates all this abundant life, which is what we see. So that is what our ancient ancestors, like divine partnership, divine unity that I have up here, that is what
mhm,
they knew, and that is how they led. They led through divine partnerships, meaning there's characteristics in me that I have that I'm aware of. There's characteristics in you that you have that you are aware of, and we come together to make all of this beautiful creation. And that's true divine partnership. So yes,
mhm.
it's true in the cosmos, and what we're supposed to do here on earth is reflect that.
Exactly. And that is one of the basic things what they took from us to break that union apart, and
Yeah.
and and now you roam as one and I roam as the other, and we get
Mm-hmm.
nowhere, and we create nothing that we can leave to say we made a difference here on earth and in other people's lives. So the thing is, let's go to a guy, and he spoke on the black dot.
Oh,
And
okay, yeah.
and when you hit that, I was like, boy, I can't wait to get to Bobby Hemming.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, Bobby Hemming, he was like, he was like, yeah, oh Bobby, that's my boy. You know what I mean? He's like
Uh-huh.
old school, man. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's go.
Lust, sexual eroticism, and sexual pleasure. It's supposed to be explored to the highest level. That's why government, he didn't stop no Bibles, he didn't stop no Christianity. He got a church on every corner. But he stopped the sexual revolution of the 70s with the AIDS scare. Why did he do that? Why did the government do that? Because they understand that it is the power of this particular realm of the power we're talking about is sexual energy. And this is hitting real spiritual, because that's what we're going to go into today. And that's the stuff we need to be dealing with. But I'm not just talking about on some beautiful romantic level. We're talking about freaky stuff that you got in your mind, other than the gender crossing. We're talking about the most erotic things that you have. Everybody has these things, but you are trained in this society not to deal with those things. You see what I'm saying? Especially the women, who is the greater vessel to deal with this type of stuff and all. We'll get into that particular part also too. But you're trained if you go into your passions and your erotic desires that you're a freak. This is a patriarchal society, and it's done to shut down a certain feminine energy. Also, we're talking about sexual tantra, raising certain spiritual energies to a certain level. And this is the way of action, and this is actually the power. What is the Kundalini energy? The real power is nothing but the Kundalini energy. That's what the real power is. The flip side of the Kundalini energy is the black dot. You saw the black dot, which is you see the staff of Tahuti. Then you have the two serpents, which represents the Kundalini serpentine fire. But you have the black dot is the end piece. The real power is nothing but the force that goes to that particular black dot. And then through the black dot, it synthesizes into this particular magnificent force. The key here is, what is Kundalini energy? It's sexual energy.
Yes.
D for K dot.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah. And you know, that is one of the most important things that we have to realize, that during those sexual intercourses, we are opening up something so fantastic that it'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. It's a
You're
portal.
opening up a portal inside of a new universe, because we're all our own individual universes, and we are the awareness that observe. So we observe the observable universe through our awareness. And so when you enter into a female, when you enter into her universe, the portal to get in, to penetrate her, is through our five senses, our five holes. You can penetrate us through our eyes, through our mouth, through taste, what we see, through what we smell, your voice, what we hear, and the touch, and then through our other hole, which you now have access into our universe. So it is important that we understand feminine and masculine principles, so we don't abuse that portal, we don't abuse that universe, we don't abuse that access, because that's what's currently being done in this society through patriarchy, which is what Bobby was saying, that it's suppressive and it reduces women to just numbers and labels, instead of educating people on really what are we as divine feminine beings, and what do we offer.
Right. And see, that's the whole beauty about it. When you open up the Kundalini, and what people don't realize, in the male, they call sperm, they call it neurospinal secretion, or neurospinal fluid. So it starts in us, in our brain, go down our spinal, and goes into genitalia. And so this is what they say, that when we hold it and raise it back up, and it goes back into our brain. You hear what I'm saying? So
I hear exactly what you're saying.
yeah. And
I want to
so,
expound on that when you're done.
okay. And so when you seen the two serpents on the pole, that was representing the Kundalini energy, and the pole is the spinal, and the black dot. That's what all happened at. Go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah, I actually had a spiritual experience when I first started to awaken and go into my consciousness and elevate my consciousness from, being wrapped up in the matrix, to being awakened to who I am and the truth and my history and my ancestors. When I was in that space, when I was first waking up, I realized there was something happening. Every time I learned something that elevated my consciousness, my body was flooded with a sexual energy. And it was sexual because it was in the sexual region. It was generating energy. And I would feel like the stimulation in my own body, my own genitalia. I feel stimulation.
Mhm.
And so I asked a question. I was like, what is that? Every time I read something or I hear something or I hear a podcast or somebody's talking about something that's stimulating my mind, it's generating a certain friction within me down there. And so I
Mhm.
asked the questions, and I started to read and work with AI and start, researching. And what I realized is when I was in my meditation, my highest and wisest self was saying, that's creative energy. That's the
Mhm.
creative energy force. And it
Mhm.
told me, don't let it go. Instead, instead, raise and increase it. Use your muscles and squeeze. And so every time I would get that friction, I would squeeze up, I would tighten up. And then what I was doing was, as I continued to learn, as I continued to read, as I continue getting this flow of energy, and as I, instead of like what some of us do is we release the energy, you masturbate and then you release the energy. I didn't. I said,
Mhm.
you know what? I'm going to hold on to this energy. I'm going to squeeze. So I would do these practices every day of reading and meditating and increasing my energy. And what I would do was imagine in my mind that my energy was being risen within.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so many days of doing that, I had a vision during meditation. And in this vision, I raised my energy to the point where my heart chakra opened.
That's right.
I managed to take my energy from the sacral up
Mhm.
to my heart. And then I
Mhm.
saw a dimension open up. It was a vision where I'm in myself and looking up into the universe. And I saw the door open and I had access. And then that led my spirit and my soul to now rise up to my crown chakra, to where I have transformed into this person today, into who my
Mhm.
highest and wisest version of myself. So
Mhm.
what I'm saying is, on the feminine side, we have our own kundalini and ability to stimulate and increase our own energy on a feminine side through our own sacral chakra and organs.
And that is so true. But here's the thing. The masculine side completes that. You get
Yeah.
me? It's like if uh another masculine energy was there meditating with you when that was taking place, the circulation of the mixture, you get me? Both of you
Mhm.
all would have had that vision.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we
Mhm.
complete one
Mhm.
another. And
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
when we walk in that kind of knowledge of energy, of
Yeah.
power, then you realize in the oneness. But
Mhm.
here's the thing. Every door need a doorknob.
I like it. Go ahead.
See, every door need a doorknob. In order to open up the portal, we can't just do it by ourselves. Y'all just can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You see what
there's
I'm saying?
certain there's certain characteristics that you guys exude that we need, and there's certain characteristics that we exude that you need. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And if once we get to that place, that's why it's two serpents on the Cadusa. It's two serpents. And these serpents are representing what we talking about today, the masculine and the feminine energy of the
Mhm.
universe. See, this was worldwide. It was all over. If you go to any place in Asia, ancient ruins, or any old structure, you're gonna see serpents everywhere. In Cambodia, they got a place called it's a casino, matter of fact, called Niga,
Mhm.
which means serpent, you know.
Mm.
And so this thing is real, but it's just coming into to our cultures in the last 10, 15 years. And now don't get me wrong, there was a lot of elite people knew about this kind of power, if you will, that we have, opening up the chakra systems and allowing that kundalini to rise is a beautiful
It
thing.
is. It
Hmm.
is. It is a beautiful thing. And it's the thing that people should know about. This is something that everybody needs to have an understanding, because once you see the world as energy, once you see yourself as energy, everything clicks, everything makes sense.
Hmm.
And once you understand how your energy is distributed and stored in your body, it makes sense why things are happening to you. It makes sense why you get stimulated there. What do you do
Hmm.
with that energy is what you
Hmm.
need to, is what people need to know.
Hmm. And sometimes, here's the thing: around your birthday or your so-called birthday, we're gonna talk about that one day. Um,
Okay.
around your birthday, it's best to keep it inside. It's best to keep it inside.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is once you because here's the thing, here's the thing out of the Bible. It's saying, like Moses lift the serpent up in the wilderness, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The Son of Man must be lifted up. The Christ consciousness got to be lifted up. Well, if you start and it goes down and come back up, that consciousness, the mind of Christ, the divine mind will elevate,
Mm-hmm.
and your halo or your crown will glisten and glow
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
shine. And so around your birthday, it's like a week before your birthday and a week after. If you can sustain from it, that will be one of the awesome things. And but so many people, they want to release it, and 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 what they do is hurt their own self, because it's for real, it's medicine for our body.
Yeah. Yeah, that's mad deep and mad
Hmm.
powerful.
Hmm.
But a lot of people are trained, programmed to release it, because this world understands the power of sexual energy. And so
Hmm.
there's so many ways to stimulate their sexual energy to get that release, that, and then on top of that, women are sexualized. So there's
Hmm.
no sexual discipline that's taught. Like, what is the reason why you need to have sexual discipline? Why do you need to hold it in? It's because when you keep that energy is a life force energy. You're not
Exactly.
releasing your life force, you're increasing your life force.
Exactly. That's right.
The
That's right.
power of your mind, the things that you were taking in was giving you those dopamine, oxytocin hormones, flood your body and started stimulating those chakras. And then you keep that in. Now your body's flooded when you feel good.
Hmm.
And then you
But
use that as energy.
see, this is the whole thing. The boxers before a big event, they would not have intercourse.
Mm,
They understand that.
they keep all that testosterone in.
That's right. Because when you release, you get weak. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing, and this is my suggestion to anybody: the energy that it brings you, you need to keep it. If you got big tasks and right before your birthday, you need to keep that energy. You get me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because once you keep that energy, you can go through smoothly. But now here's the thing: that energy can also backfire on you too and make you mean and grouchy. So when it's getting you to that point, you better release it. You
Go
better
ahead,
go
really.
ahead. Yeah,
Let me dampen the spot a little bit.
yeah, you,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's self control, self mastery. When you
Hmm.
need to release, when you need to take the edge off, and you manage yourself. You
Right.
manage yourself,
Right.
but you don't just whenever it comes, you go ahead and run off and and
Oh
and
no.
and go release, and then you make it into some, addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You manage yourself, but
Yeah.
you understand the purpose of the energy and how it can be used to create.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the fluid itself uh helps the neurons in your
Mm.
brain itself.
Mhm.
It's a fluid, and so these neurons that you have in your brain, you also have them in your intestines, and
Mhm.
so it replenishes them as the old
Mm.
ones die off, the new ones come in. That
Mm.
energy is keeping them lubricated, if we would,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so we can think better, and this body can function properly and heal right and
Yeah.
sleep right and
Yeah.
do the things that we need to do on the physical plane of existence.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize: them neurons, when you by yourself and not round a the opposite of yourself, it dies off. It start decaying. Ain't that something? You
Explain
need
further.
you need to be in close proximity to, if you're masculine, you need to be in close proximity to the feminine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And if you separate, just like some people walk away from the divine, well, they be pushed away from the divine because they don't understand. They get weaker. Their bodies, their minds, their thoughts, they process, they
Yeah.
imagination, their creativity, the
Yeah.
power source, it get
Mhm.
weaker. You get
Mhm.
me?
Yeah.
And what we don't know, that it was by design. And if you look up right now, the 12 organ systems of the body,
Mhm.
the 12th one, they're gonna have it male and female, right? But that's one that makes the 12th. And what people don't realize, we are designed to be together and live together and do the things the universe sought us out to do in
Yeah.
order to be healthy, to
Yeah.
create.
Yeah. 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 I hear that. That right there, to me, when you say that, I call that divine partnerships,
Right,
because there's certain aspects of the male characteristics that I need to help me with where I'm going on my mission, on my journey, on my purpose, my evolution. And it takes the two to come together. And that's, for me, that's what divine unity is. It's finding that other part of you.
right, right, right. Yeah. And when you find that, you know it. When you know. You know what I mean? Because it's like a divine order comes into your mind and in your
Mhm.
heart and in your body. Even your body structures start changing. But why? Because when love come into your heart, like you said, when you had that vision and it went to the heart chakra. See, when
Mhm.
love come into your heart, it opens the universe, because
Ah,
love is
love
the only law in the universe.
that transcends all
All,
dimensions is
all
love.
dimensions
Is love.
is
Passion.
love.
Yeah, there's a certain love. I've been thinking about that too, about myself. When
Hmm.
I look at divine partnerships, I look at what are some things that I may need that can help me get to where I want to get to, like as far as like a partnership and that divine love that I can get to unlock parts of me that may be
Right.
closed. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
and that's what I see is how we should look at it, is look at the characteristics, look at the traits, I'm naturally I'm I'm more intuitive. I'm a very intuitive person, and I'm also introverted. So when I think about a partnership, I think about someone who is also intuitive, someone who can understand the depths of the mind and the soul and can understand energy and feel, because that's how I see the world, and I need someone who can also see as well. And so therefore, by me having that level of awareness about myself, when I think about partnering with other people, I think about, well, do they have those similar characteristics? Do they have those similar traits? Or if I have traits that I may be lacking in, do they have those traits to help fill that gap? And then that partnerships turn into, and you receive a level of love that
Mhm.
unlocks more of who you are. And it's beautiful, and that's how we should see and view relationships, is through that lens.
Yeah. But we also have to understand that we attract whatever level of consciousness you're on, you're going
Mhm.
to attract that.
Yeah.
And then if you don't attract it, you're gonna attract the one that is in the circle of where you used to be,
Yeah.
or where you trying to come from. You're gonna attract that same person. And what we try to do is elevate and attract the people that is on our level. But here's the problem. Here's the problem.
That's the problem.
The problem is you got a divine order that's
Hmm.
coming to you. And the divine order is going to give you what's best for you. Let me say this again. The
Okay.
divine law and order is going to give you the person that is best for you at this particular time, that will
Yeah.
elevate you and carry you to another level, and you carry them to another level. And this is
Hmm.
how the situation go. See,
Hmm.
we want to still be in the human mindset when we come to that kind of energy, but we cannot, because we cannot see our energy, but we know we think on a higher level. We know we doing something, but we don't see it from the spiritual point of view where we vibrating at really. So
Hmm.
we have to be open-minded and say, who and this person just came into my life, and it's something there. The universe sent them. And this is what I do when I meet people and stuff like that. It's like
Hmm.
I go into meditation and I ask, why is they around me? What is the purpose? You get
Hmm.
me?
Hmm.
And the divine
Yeah.
truth will tell you, and you will know. I'm telling you, will know, because
Yeah.
it is designed, and it has our best interests in hand, and it has the universal interest in hand. And what I mean by that,
Mhm.
they ain't gonna give you, it ain't gonna you're not gonna vibrate to a person that is not on the level where you at and do some harm to you. The universe
Mhm.
don't play like that. You get me?
Mhm.
Where
Mhm.
you think, where you speak, that's what the return gonna be. So if you speaking, well, this what type of man I want, this is what I want, this masculine energy, and whatever your picture is, the universe is gonna fulfill your desire, okay? Based on what you feel and what is best for you. You get me what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
so we can I used to tell people this, and it's like the older generation or the old world, sometimes people, married people, ain't never met them in their life. They met them
Mhm.
on the day of the wedding. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you say to yourself, well, how did they knew? They was groomed. They was taught. Regardless, this is how this union gonna be. You need a man and you need a woman. That's how it go. And this is what gonna happen. And this is gonna
Well,
bring families together.
yeah, what there
Mm-hmm.
and they did that, and they went back in the ancient Kemet. That's how they ran their dynasties. It's through the proper union and bonding of a male, of a prince, and a being. And
Mm-hmm.
how they would do it is they would say, okay, the princess has this characteristics. She's extroverted. She likes to, she's very social. She understands politics, political settings. She understands. She has good mannerisms. She understands different, etiquettes. And then they also say, this is her star sign. They will go into the meaning of her name and how she was born, and the stars and the sun and the moon she was under, and the characteristics and her traits, and match her with the male counterpart to that.
Yeah.
It's like with astrology, there's certain if I'm a Leo, there's certain other signs that I bond with based on my personality traits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they would do in the temples. They would go to the priestess and the priests, and then they would go through and sit through and learn and decode who they are. And then they would make a divine partnership based on that. And that's why it was successful,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they
Mm-hmm.
understood the different characteristics and traits of a woman and a male. And so with
Right.
that data, they were able to make divine unions and bonds to rule.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we should be living our lives
Right.
like, but we were conditioned to go through a system where marriage is what, 50% successful. Relationships are a mess.
Yeah.
In who wants to be in the dating scene? It's
Yeah.
scary up in there.
Yeah. And
It
that's
don't work
you.
out, and you get hurt and used.
And but here's the thing though. Here's how this thing go. By design, they keep you apart, okay? Because they know the chaotic mind. They train the chaotic mind. They train the mind of ignorance. They train the mind of that. So they know, just throw them in the world and let them go for what they know, and the best man win. That's how this system is. But when you have divine order and divine structure, you come out ahead, because the universe already knows what is best for you, because it saw you create this body. It saw you doing all the things in the spiritual realm before you got to this physical form. It knows everything. So the point, what I'm saying is, and not saying we off topic, but I'm just saying the divine energy is one energy. See, you and I make one energy. Okay. We call it male and female. We call it masculine and feminine. We call it a woman and a man. But it's like, if these two energies does not go together, there will be no creations. Okay. It's no creation. I'm talking about from spiritual, financial, uh, no creation, because this is the law of the universe, that we bring the electric and the magnetic force together. Therefore, the universe can express itself through us in a divine way, even if you're not even sexual. Let me say that again. Even if you're not even sexual, you could just be around masculinity, and they can give you an idea, and you, by you being the feminine, you will start giving birth or creation to these ideas. That's how
Yeah.
the universe works.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so many people, but see, here's the thing: so many people been taught wrong, and in a man, some men, I ain't gonna say all, can give a woman a idea, and she'll destroy it, not in purpose, but the ignorance of self causes self-destruction.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
that's from not choosing properly because you weren't properly aware of yourself. So you went into a relationship and wasn't aware of how she would affect you. You don't
mhm.
understand about how your mind works and how your reality is created. And that's why there's so many people that enter into serious commitments and then years later separate because what happened? They grow apart
Now, well, let me hold
because
your thought. Hold your thought. Hold your thought.
mhm,
Since you said mine, my teacher, my divine teacher, C. Freeman L. I listen
mhm.
to this man over and over and over and over and over and over again. This is who woke me up. So I got to give him a big shout out. But this is about the mind. Let's listen to him. This guy. Now hold that thought though. I want you to hold
Okay.
that.
The first thing you do is study yourself. And when you finish studying yourself, go back and study yourself again, you know, because you're never finished. You're never finished. Those that get to a certain plateau of development, they get their chakras open, they get their glandular systems functioning. Then they have to attend to their mental thing. Well, let's sort out their thoughts. Brother L.C. Bay, I went over his house one day and said, "Brother, you know what I'm doing now?" I said, "What's up?" "I'm sorting out all my thoughts." You know, that's a hell of a process. Yeah? And you can't sort them all out. He knows that. But you have to be mindful of your thinking. Because when you get to a certain level of atomic energy, you think something and it happens. You know, I mean, you can hurt somebody, you know, or tear up something, or like Maxine, a witch, laying up in the bathtub, cussing somebody out, and all of a sudden the ceiling starts crumbling, you know, because her energy was hitting the ceiling, going after the person that she was thinking those thoughts about, you know. And the stuff just started falling all in the bathtub, right back on her ass.
I don't want to get crazy. I just want to ask, is it true that even the process of thoughts, bad and pure thoughts, literally begin to rip off the universe?
The collective forces, according to the metaphysicians and occultists, are what we are seeing in tornadoes, earthquakes, and horrendous storms that do the destroying. If you think about it, you know. In fact, you don't need to think about it. You've already had the experience. Walk in one neighborhood and the energy is light, relaxed, and peaceful. Walk in another community and you get tense, irritable, and even angry, you know. That's the pockets of thought energy lingering in those areas. The first time I had that experience, I was coming up 83rd, never forget it, turned right onto Huff. And this shit hit me in my solar plex, almost bent me over. The energy was so dense, you know, you know. That's what was going up and down Huff all day, 7 days a week, bad negative energy.
Mm.
You see, the power that we have is why I stopped that. We have the mind power. We have individual power. And we have collective power. And the masculine and the feminine get together. They are so powerful. They generate so much power that we can change the dynamics if we understand our power. See,
Mm-hmm.
you get what I'm saying? We haven't came to the right knowledge to understand what we can do together and work with the energy, the spiritual energy outside of us, and the spiritual energy as the masculine and the feminine put it together and work with the substance that's around us. We ain't even tried that yet. You get me? And like he was saying, that stagnant
Mm-hmm.
energy lingering around, negative, nasty, it'll hurt you.
Well, there's people that were intentionally placed in those conditions, because those conditions where you poverty and stagnation and your intention, that's a state of mind. The people in that live in those areas have a state of mind,
Mm-hmm.
and it's vibrating and resonating within their body, and it becomes normal to them to live like that. They become programmed, conditioned.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so when you leave those communities, you go somewhere else where it's not like that. There's trees everywhere, it's parks, it's quiet, it's peaceful. People are usually doing better
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they're living in a state of peace. The environment is peaceful.
Right.
So those conditions are intentionally designed to produce a certain kind of energy being, a certain type of
Mm-hmm.
energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So people are programmed and conditioned into that. Most people don't want that. Most people don't want to live like that. If you
Right.
ask anyone that live out there, their deepest desire is to get out, is to be
Right.
free and experience a level of peace, and just to live in a home and live in a neighborhood that is peaceful and loving and community. They want that. Most people want that. But a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people are born into these circumstances and into these conditions, and then there's no proper safety nets in society to get them out of it. Instead, it keeps them in there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I am aware of the difference between walking in different neighborhoods and the energy and the conditions that people are living in. But you
And
can get yourself out of it. You can, by elevating your consciousness, you can rise out.
And that's what I was finna say. And that's what the metaphysics and the
Yes.
spiritual and occult teachers have to come in. See, one
Mhm.
blessed thing, and I tell people if they don't realize it or not, we are catching a divine break. And the reason why I say that, we got internet everywhere. I don't care what part of the world you in, you can use internet. And if somebody on there is saying something that will help you develop a better life for yourself, somewhere, somehow.
Yep.
It was back in the day, we didn't have nothing but the Bible and some old encyclopedias and a couple
Yeah.
of dictionaries, you
To
know
go
what I
off
mean?
of. Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so and now the people got access to tap into the energy of C. Freeman L or Bobby
Yeah.
Hemmett
Bobby
and get
Hemmett. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And here's the thing: focus. Because I was looking at a situation and how fight or flight keep you on your toes so much that they won't even sit down and listen to a guy like that. They
Yeah.
think it's crazy. You know what I mean? It's
They're not ready for that level of consciousness. There's you don't just one day you just okay, I got it. You have it takes steps. We evolve through life. We have to
Mhm,
revisit a certain thing over and over again, multiple times. And every time we revisit, we go deeper. We get a deeper sense of what it is. So not everybody's on that evolutionary step to receive that
mhm,
type of knowledge. I couldn't just go from for example, I was just enveloped in white culture just to now I'm in Kemet. It took steps for me to get to Kemet. You know what I'm saying? It
mhm.
took steps for me to receive certain knowledges and wisdoms. I had to go through my own journey. But most people I feel want that. They just don't know how. And for me, I wrote down the process on how I became conscious, how I elevated my conscious. What knowledge do I need to know? What data I need to collect in order for me to become conscious? What are the steps, the practical everyday things that I need to know?
Right.
I learned that you need to have a level of self awareness, self knowledge, knowledge of self, which is what he was saying. You have to
Mhm.
understand who you are and question yourself. Then, after you learn who you are, sit with it again. Well, what do you need to know about who you are? You need to know that you are made up of your different personality traits, you're made up
Mhm.
of energy, you're made of your strengths. You need to know what your purpose is. You need to know
Right.
what your vision is, the vision where you're going with your life. You need to understand what your potential is, how far you can
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
These are the questions that you need to know about yourself. What's your energy signature? Are you an introvert? Are you extrovert? Are you a joyful person? Or what is your love pattern? How do you receive love? These are the different things about yourself that you need to know. What are your strengths? What are your natural gifts? What are your abilities? What is your intrinsic value outside of the matrix, outside of society? What is your value? What did you come here with?
And not only that aspect of it, they need to know the subconscious. They need to know the conscious mind. They need to know muscle memory, short-term memory, long-term memory.
Yeah,
They
they
need
need
to
to know how their
know
mind
their
functions.
sleeping
Mhm.
pattern, the beta, alpha, theta, delta
Your dream
state. They
state,
need to
yeah.
know dream
Mhm,
state. They need to
mhm.
know things within, because we don't learn enough stuff outside of ourselves. We need to go inside and
Yes,
understand the hemispheres of our brains and how
yes,
they function, and things of that nature, and our diets, and what will generate new cells in our body, and what cells are, and all of these, and keep going,
yeah,
because
and they don't teach us none of that. They don't
I,
teach,
that,
you know, from kindergarten to high school, we spend like 16,000 hours in the education system, and by the
Mhm.
time we get out of high school, we don't understand how our mind functions and how our reality is created. We don't understand how our mind is influenced. We don't understand why we think the way we do. We don't understand none of that.
and
And
that's
that's the
what
most important information we need to know.
and that's what I'm saying. See, that's what the whole point is knowing thyself,
Yes.
because this is the only way, and I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, if a mechanic don't know how a motor is soldered in and put together in the function of the motor, how can he fix it? So he got
Mhm.
to first know it, and he got to understand, and then you can go in and fix it. So the human anatomy in the mind is the same thing.
Yeah.
If you know it, then you can do certain things to fix it and keep it functioning to the point where it'll go faster, elevate higher, or think
Your
more
reality
broader, or
changes.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
That's what
You know.
that's what I teach you, like experience where, you know, I didn't have good mental health and I was suffering with my
Mhm,
mental health. And
mhm,
I got to the point where if I don't learn about how I function as a human being,
mhm,
I'm not going to survive. I'm not going to last. So
mhm,
it is important to know that you can't heal something you're not aware of. You need to learn the functioning of the human body. You need to
mhm.
understand what you are as energy and
Right.
how your mind processes that energy and how your reality is created. And you need to understand the different organs and what they're there to do and the purpose of it. You need to understand how energy moves through your nervous system and through your body.
Mhm, mhm. And
Because
and
if
that's
you don't
what,
understand that, go ahead, go ahead.
if you don't understand it, and you don't have time to study these things, because it just ain't gonna pop in your mind and your consciousness and your
Mhm,
awareness just like that. Something got to trigger it. So you need a
mhm.
book, you need a teacher, you need
A
somebody,
guide,
a
yeah.
guide
Mhm,
to do, because let me tell you, being honest, I didn't learn the human anatomy until I was about 45. Okay. About
mhm,
45. and yeah, about 45. And the whole thing is, um, this guy, uh, C. Freeman L. He made me hungry for it. You get me? But I was at 45. Now imagine if I would learned it 25 years before
Yeah,
45.
when you were
You know what I
earlier.
mean?
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
was
yeah.
early. So the whole point is this right here: the distractions and the focus is not on the things that is important to know. They put the focus on the music, the money, paying bills, the ills, paying the ills, and and
Them bills calls them
and
ills.
ills, yeah. And so all this focus that they could be using to improve, because here's the thing: if you happy, success gonna come. You get me? I don't care what nobody say. If you happy, success gonna come. And people gonna have to realize that if um they know their anatomy, they know their mind, they know cytology or philosophy or psychology or something
Psychology,
about
yeah.
it'll make them feel good to know these things, because knowledge puff up. But really, when you have an understanding of it, then someone can come into you and say, listen, you got a headache because you need to do this or do that, or whatever the situation is. And then they'll know, no, you're not right. I got a
Yeah,
headache because I'm
yeah.
dehydrated, or
Knowledge
something,
itself is power
yeah,
because it gives you the power to choose differently. Because
yeah,
now you
exactly.
can step back and say, no, I know myself. I know what I need. I know how to listen to my body. That's not, yeah, yeah. I mean, I've had situations where I ended up in the ER myself. And when I came out, I had all these bottles of medications that wouldn't cure me. It would just treat the symptoms. Man, I got my diagnosis. I went online to YouTube and I just said holistic way to cure or fix this. I went to the store, got the herbs, $2.50, and ended up curing my issue. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's,
So
yeah, yeah.
knowledge of self, and you can't be manipulated. So if somebody try to sweet talk you into, oh yeah, let's do this, let's do that, you're like, no, I know what you're doing. I know what language you're using. I know you're trying to manipulate me, sir. No, thank you. And you know how to defend yourself. It's a level of self-defense against people that wants to do you harm because you have knowledge of who you are and your value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And see, that's the whole thing. See, so now we're gonna get. Let me finish this little clip because he got some more powerful jewels to drop right here. This is my main man, C. Freeman L. Man. This is my main man. I mean, let me just say this before I go to it. I was in that Bible deep, and I was hungry for truth. And I'm telling you, you vibrate to people, people vibrate to you when you're ready for it. Like they say,
Yeah.
when the student is ready, the teacher
The
appear. When
teacher
the
appears.
teacher is
Yeah.
ready, the student appear. So
Mm-hmm.
we got to realize this, the universe already got it sought out for us to have and do what we need. We just gotta be hungry. And if you ain't hungry for it, ain't nobody gonna feed you if you ain't hungry.
So we're trying to get power that allows us to do battle with the invisible world. And much of that world is not people, it's bad energy, negative, evil, psychic, murderous thoughts. If you're not open to, or if you're open to receptivity and you're not in control, somebody else can make you hurt somebody else by just simply thinking it. The first time I experienced that, a young boy standing outside, and this is a teenager, standing outside of Woolworths. And everybody that passed by was standing in the middle of both doors. He was going in his mind, steal something, steal something. He was saying it mentally. You could hear the thoughts coming out. Steal something. Steal something. You know? That's 14, 15 years. But he found out he had this power of suggestion. So he went down to try it out, you know. So you need to be mindful of your thinking and to listen to your own spirit. You know? Because maybe one day your spirit say, don't leave the house. You know? Don't go anywhere. You know? Oh man, this is waiting on me. Yeah, right. You know? You know, the swing of the pendulum. There is a time and a season for everything under the sun. Is a law fixed in nature. It is not going to change. We would be wise to adhere to that as universal law.
And so you see what he's saying. You know, we're not, what people don't realize that thoughts are like clouds. You know we got clouds and thoughts are like clouds. And if they don't get used, they go somewhere and store up. Okay. What we call entities or evil spirits or things like they came from our ignorance. They got to go somewhere. So they bundle up. And when these thoughts possesses or come through the mind of man, then if you're not conscious and aware that something trying to influence you and carry you down the wrong path, then you're gonna be trapped in these situations. And oftentimes they target people that is ignorant of self. What you think about that?
Well, yes, that is how a lot of us are living these programmed realities. We're in this state of being that we don't desire to be in, but we were programmed and conditioned through society to be in these states. And what he was mentioning is that if you don't understand how your reality is created, somebody else does. And they will use it to manipulate and exploit you for your economic resources. And that is what we have been. We have been manipulated and exploited. How does your reality work? How is it that you're existing in this reality? Well, when you understand that your mind is meant to process energy, process frequency. So thoughts are a frequency, and you are the observer that monitors and watches this frequency. So when a thought enters your mind, there's a part of your mind that catches and receives that signal, and it turns that into a image, because we have internal sight. It turns that energy, that message, into a image. You put your attention, your focus into that thought that you're having, a chemical reaction happens. That thought then turns into energy and emotion, because your body was flooded with, maybe that thought gave you fear, and now you're flooded with serotonin, and now you're flooded with stress hormones, and now it's flooding your body. Now you don't want to act on that. Now you're stuck. And then when you feel that through your body, what happens? Now your behavior, you don't move, you're not going to act on it, you don't do. So when outside forces like, the media, entertainment is telling you that you should be chasing money, chasing success, or what beauty standards are, you're going to put your mind on that. And it's going to make you feel a certain way, and it's going to make you do. That's why when people listen to certain music that's like hypersexual, it makes them what? It makes them want to be sexual. It makes them want to, be all, and then you don't realize that you're acting out all this programming because you don't understand how your own mind works to create your reality.
Exactly.
And that is the number one thing people need to know.
And that's what we have to get the message out to people, to realize that you have a say so with your energy, masculine
Mhm.
or feminine. You have the divine right to exclude yourself out of any universe that is going on around you that
Mhm.
is not in your best interest. And
Yeah.
that's what people don't realize that for me, silence is golden. It's a beautiful thing to sit in the silence. But I had to come to that. I had to practice that,
Mhm.
until I understood the importance of it. And a lot of people don't understand that, because I can hear my mind. I can hear what the Bible say. I can hear the weeds growing with the tear. You get me?
Mhm.
I can hear it. And so the thing is, I don't let it affect me. I don't get emotional about it, because I know it's got its own place and it's got its own time. Like he said, it's a time and a place for everything. And so right now, sometimes we need the wheat to grow up beside the tear, because we need to be pushed towards the sun a little bit more. You get me what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
psychologically, a lot of people don't understand that, but because where we at, they don't understand masculine and feminine energy. They don't know the importance of uh bringing that energy together and creating
Mhm.
something. And then here's the thing, they want to pick and choose, and then some energies just ain't gonna fit with you. You get me?
Mhm.
If it's, let me say it like this, because a man is masculine, that don't mean his energy is going to make you produce something wonderful. That energy might be carrying you down because it's on a lower level than yours. So a lot of people pick and choose because and I don't know why I'm back on relationship thing, but it's like they pick and choose and they don't understand the energy that they finna associate themselves with. It's gonna ground them to the point where they not producing, if that makes sense. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, because we're not taught about our energy signature patterns. We're not taught
Mhm.
what our signature patterns are. And we have we vibrate on a different frequency than somebody else, and we have different pains, we have different challenges, we have different strengths, we have different abilities, and my value mindsets, my frameworks don't always align with. And a
Mhm.
lot of people are into relationships without even being aligned because the dollar amount, the labels, the titles are there. And
Right,
they're
right.
going after labels and titles and dollar amounts and not going after what is his purpose? What is his mission? Does he know who he is? What is God to him?
Mhm.
What does he think of life? How does he look at view kids? Does he view kids as the future? How does was he a, is he a natural teacher? What is his natural abilities? What is his strengths? What is his passions? Those are things
Mhm.
that you should be aligned with when you're
Right.
choosing a mate, choosing a partner,
Yeah. Yeah.
because those are
And,
the
and
things that are everlasting.
and now don't get me wrong, men doing the same thing. I see a lot of friends of mine, oh, she fine, she pretty, but it gonna take 2-3 times for me just to see that person, to see where that energy at. You can meet people right off the muscle and say they beautiful, sexy, and all of this right here. But once you start being around them, you'll see their true energy, and then you'll
Yeah, yeah,
understand that you know what I mean. So,
yeah.
but here's the thing: the beautiful thing about it, no matter what level they own, you can tell them, listen, go within, find yourself, and love yourself and be true to yourself. And then what that would do, they will start seeking. and asking questions, and then that's when the self-improvement will take place. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
a lot of times what we do, and I don't did it many times, we just go, okay, you ain't at my level, go ahead. You know what I mean? Instead of just sitting down with the person and saying, okay, let me show you why psychologically this ain't gonna work. Let me carry you down the path and show
Mhm.
you the energy that you kicking, what I'm kicking. It
Mhm.
won't produce. It's gonna cause chaos. You get me?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
sometimes your masculine energy messes up my masculine energy. Sometimes my feminine energy
Yeah.
mess up your feminine energy.
Mhm.
With that being said, let me show you this lady. Let's go what she said. Because it's see what we don't know, that a man and a woman got two sides. A woman is masculine and feminine, and a man is masculine and feminine. And these
Yeah.
things gotta just check out. What let's get her on the screen. Uh, yeah, we walk right into that one. Listen to what she's. Oh, whoa, what is this? I'm so happy to put her up. That was okay. All right.
Divine masculine or divine feminine energy, and this is not well known. And that is, in order for a person to become the divine masculine, they actually have to also embody the attributes of the divine feminine, and vice versa, because these energies leave off where the other begins. They are more than just complementary forces, they are a continuum of a whole being. There is a very interesting thing that happens when embodying divine masculine or divine feminine energy, and this is not well known. And that is, in order for a person to become the divine masculine, they actually have to also embody the attributes of the divine feminine, and vice versa, because these energies leave off where the other begins. They are more than just complementary forces, they are a continuum of a whole being. There is a
Mm.
You hear what she said?
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
We are not whole by ourselves. The universe knows that. You're not whole until you couple into something. And your masculine side represents my feminine side. My feminine side represents your masculine side. And that's how this thing is like the infinity sign, the figure
Mhm.
eight. We
Yeah.
complement, we complete each other. And
Yes.
and that's the whole universe is set up this way. We the maps, we the blueprints of it, but the whole universe is set up that way.
Yeah. Yeah. When I hear that I have both energies within me. Now, I present myself biologically as a feminine being, but within me is also masculinity. I also have a protectiveness. I also have I want to go out and create, and I want to go out and do, and I want to go out and fend and do for self, that masculinity. I also have that within me. But as a feminine being, I am tied to the moon, I'm tied to the earth. I go off of a
Mhm.
cycle. So I have a level of emotions, hormones that I flow through every single month. So I can so here's how I break this down
Uh-huh.
to people when it comes to masculine energy and feminine energy, okay? And how I have both. Every month I go through a hormonal cycle. I
Right.
go through a period where there's low testosterone. And when my testosterone's a bit lower, I mean, I can focus, I can get stuff done, I can do what I need to do. But around that time in the month where my testosterone increases around ovulation, it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to focus on anything because the sex drive goes up. And I'll be thinking like, yo, if men got to deal with this level of sex drive all the time, I can't function. And then soon as my hormones drop after ovulation, I got the energy again. I can focus, I can think. And I have the ability to have both sides flowing through me throughout the month. And I realize there's a separation with that steadiness. Men, masculine energy, people that present themselves as male beings, they don't go through that hormonal change. They have a
No, no, no,
steady
whoa, whoa, whoa,
dose.
whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on.
Hmm.
What you saying is not totally correct. Okay.
Okay.
What I'm telling you, y'all feel it more
Okay.
than we do. We go through it. We don't know what it is because we don't know our human anatomy, but we go through it. It's subtle and it drives us insane when we need to be in around the feminine. That's when we really it drives us crazy.
I see what you're
I'm telling you,
saying.
we
You
go,
feel it, you go through it, but
yeah,
it's not as prominent as feminine beings, females.
yeah,
We experience it more intensely.
yes, we feel it. The men will be like, boy, I need to, boy, yeah, it's time. Yeah, where's she at? You know what I mean? We get there. We be thinking that, but we don't. It don't. It affects our emotion. We get very angry and stuff like that easily. Things pop off and stuff. But we medicated. A lot of people medicated. They go drink a beer, have a shot, smoke a blunt, whatever the situation may be. They medicated. But at the end of the day, when they get round their woman, she in trouble. It's time. Oh, it's ready. He ready. You get me? Because I don't know if you what we call it horny. That we get horny, just like
Mhm.
alcohol. But yeah, it affects us psychologically because you got to remember it's coming from our brain.
Well, what I mean is we don't have a steady dose of testosterone like you guys do, which
Mhm,
allows because when you look at the work life, the workforce,
mhm.
it's male dominated. Like a woman, it's very hard for a feminine being to function in sustaining yourself 8 hours every single day, 5, 6 days a week, while you're going through the changes of your hormones and flowing. That is hard to sustain that, but males can sustain that
Yeah,
level of energy. That's what makes us different.
yeah,
You
yeah.
got our hormones drop and rise monthly. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We don't have that ability like masculine males to sustain that every day, go out every day. And then y'all be cool.
Yeah,
Y'all be cool. We be trained. We be tired because our hormones are changing throughout the month. So I,
yeah.
I I get that. But when my testosterone is high, I think to myself, man, males have to deal with high testosterone levels, and if you don't have a sense of control over your sexual desires, it's hard to, I feel like, achieve your dreams, function, if you don't get a grip of that, if you don't learn sexual discipline, how to master yourself, how to master those emotions, instead of wanting to be with and go get it off and be with somebody, hone that in, turn that into something that's going to propel you, turn that into a passion, a hobby,
Well,
redirect
most genius turning into that.
that. Mm,
You got to realize the creators, the real divine creators, in our centuries, while we've been here on this earth, it was loners, people that didn't have too many people around them. and the sexual appetite to burn off the testosterone, it wasn't there. It was no need for, because the genius be like, I don't have
It
no
wasn't all
use
these
for that.
distractions.
Yeah, and all I need to do is fix this and make this and do this
You
and
go
do that.
meditate.
Yeah, meditation of whatever that I need. My mind
Mhm.
is not fixed on this because I got a bigger purpose. I got a bigger
Yes.
mission. And
Yeah.
procreation is not the first thing on a lot of divine people minds when they see people need them. You know what I mean? It's a luxury. And so to have that type of mindset, we feel sorry for y'all. I mean, I do anyway. I be like, wow,
I have
I know
compassion for
y'all.
people. I feel compassion. I feel compassion because I know what it's like to be in that space where you are just, you don't understand why your life is happening the way it do. You got no control over your life, no control over yourself, no control over your thoughts. You don't know how to deal with your triggers. That's a dark place to be. And that's
Yeah.
why I create the videos I create, is to help people become self-aware, to get them out of that. My whole channel is to help someone stop suffering. And for me, in order to stop suffering, you need to understand how your mind works, how you're being influenced, so you can start making different choices, take control back of your mind and your life.
And my thing will be is meditate, because not only do you quiet the mind down,
Mhm.
sometimes you can get it to the point where you self-master, because I
Yeah.
self-law am master. And so
Mhm.
once we get to a state where we can master our mind and control it, then we can create. Even in the Bible say a man that can control his mind will rule the nation or rule the
Yeah.
city or rule the kingdom. So when you can control that which is within, you got dominion over that which is out. So that's where
Mhm.
the aim is. And I think for me, I would tell anybody, sit still sometimes. Let's go to big boy Kevin Gates.
Oh boy.
Yeah. He cool though. Kevin, he's something else, man. He got a
We hope.
mouthful to tell you though. He on it. Yeah. He on it. Young G. Yeah.
Get up, you
Uh,
all right? No. That's when it's time for me to exhibit femininity, like my feminine side, and nurture her. Come on, baby, it's all right. That's when it's time for me to be a nurturer. Now, if you violate her, then now it's time for me to be a monster. It takes balance. You know what I'm saying? That's why when I hear like people talk about this, like the feminist movement and this alpha male bullshit, that's bullshit. It's like we not supposed to be competing with each other. We supposed to be, it's balance. Like my woman supposed to balance me out and I'm supposed to balance her out. It's about balance. It's like Mother Earth, Father Sky. It's like we create life. Toxic masculinity.
That's
yeah.
fire. Right? That's fire. I like that. I
And-
like us because there's times where you do need to be nurturing, because that's a natural feminine trait, is to be nurturing. And there's times where men need to be nurtured. And that's why having two parents in the household is so important for our youth, because they need to understand masculine energy and feminine energy and what that looks like in the home. A lot of our youth and our communities are just getting feminine energy.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're both. You have both within you. You can do both. And you just, according to the woman that you're with, your partner, you have a good balance. I love that.
Yeah. And
What
that's
you got
that's
that?
where I got balance, because uh being in tune with your feminine side as a man is
Mhm.
very important. But also you got to know that this testosterone is your calling. your mission. And a
Yeah,
lot of
because
people don't, they go to that feminine side and say, get stuck over there, you know, and the
mhm.
whole thing is off balance. But we have to know how to balance, you know. Don't get me wrong. I have no grief with anybody, but I do would love to see the younger generations understand that they got to balance their minds out, because what they seeing is a trickery when a man is using more estrogen than he should.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
if a woman using more testosterone than she should, then it's not divine order. And
Yeah.
that energy is going to be stagnant. That's the
Mhm.
only thing I have. I know that they spiritual souls and they having a uh uh spiritual experience, and I love them. I ain't got no beef with them. It's just it makes me feel sad that they don't know how to balance it. And they
They don't
claim,
understand. Yeah.
yeah, they don't
Mhm.
know their mind and they claim it, and then they get stuck right there. It's like, dang, life is so much beautiful when you're in the right position of mind, you know. And what he's saying is he knows that it's certain situations where he gonna have to let the testosterone go. He knows that. And when you're aware of this and not afraid to step into that feminine mindset for a minute, that's what make life a balance and beautiful. And
Yeah.
then people respect you for that. You get me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is so beautiful. I really do. It, knowing when to, be and to knowing when to allow the feminine mindset to take root, and when it's time to be in that state. I love that. And then when it's time to let the testosterone fall back and say, okay, I need to be in my feminine. And it's okay. We're not putting them down. We're not calling them names. We're not saying you're less than a man. No, you're just understanding what you are as a divine being. You're both at the
You
same
both
time.
at the same damn time. And that's and that's
Mhm.
what makes it so beautiful. And here's the thing: any man think he gonna go in a relationship and stay in there and kicking number testosterone all the time, he gonna burn himself out.
Mhm.
All his brain
Yeah.
cells and everything. Boy, sometimes you got to humble yourself. Sometimes you got to
Yeah.
know, okay, let's go sit and feed the
Let me
pigeons.
just
Dang,
go. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
Quiet
really
myself
want,
down.
yeah. You know what I mean? You got to, I mean, you got to
Go burn
balance
that
it
energy off. Go
out.
box
Yeah.
a little bit or go do your thing to burn some of that off, quiet the mind, and then come back and talk through it.
Yeah, yeah, and it just that simple. I mean, I don't know why we make it complex, but I guess we got to get into really understanding how this works, because a lot of this come from mind energy that has been stored up, ignorance that's stored up. See, we think the mind is inside this brain. It's not. It's not. It's an entity. It's a divine entity that we tap into. Okay, and all kind of information is running through there. That's why. That's why it say you can't do not pull the wheat up, because if you pull the wheat up, you're gonna destroy the whole. If we take out all the ignorance that is in this entity we call mind, if we take all that ignorance out, guess what? We the ignorance is woven in to the knowledge, the understanding, the intelligence is woven into it. You see what I'm saying? We'll tear it up. And a lot of people have to understand that it's two, well, I ain't gonna say two forces. It's a light side and it's a shadow side in the mind. And when we access it, we got to understand what is pushing us, what is carrying us. That's what C. Freeman was saying. This is wickedness on high places. This is what the Bible is telling us, that is principalities and wickedness in the high places. It's
Well,
telling
it's the
us.
matrix. We're not educated. We're forced from kindergarten to go to a school to learn certain things to become a worker, not conscious divine beings. We're not taught about our divinity. We're not taught about our bodies. We're not taught about our psychology and how we function. So most people are operating a programmed life, and you can't blame them. They truly don't know. And
They
if
don't know.
they are able to function in society where they're content with where they're at and making money and doing this, okay, fine. They're like, hey, I got society that I ain't struggling. This message ain't for them. Like in the Bible, it says it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a wealthy man with riches, because they have excelled at society. They don't need to see a different person. It's people like us, people that have not done so well in society, that then say, yo, I gotta find another way. God,
It
where,
is
who
another
am
way
I?
too.
This ain't working. This not working. And then we start asking the questions, and then our highest and wisest self activates, our intuition activates, and then we hear a voice that says, read this book, ask this question, watch this video, connect with this person, talk to them. And then next you know, you start gathering all this information and you start to become like, oh, I get it. It's not for them, it's for people like us to get this knowledge. But that's it's programming.
It is deep programming, but it is also see, that's, we got to understand that ignorance is part of this matrix, and that is the programming that they pushing, because these entities that is programming this what we call a matrix, they taking it by force. They're not, the stealing and killing and all of this pillaging is not because we're not giving it to them. They taking control of that. And if you're not using your mind, somebody else is using it. So we
Somebody else
have
is,
to,
yes.
yeah. So we have to educate them on
Yeah.
who they are and how to use it. And with
And
that
that's
being
what this
said,
channel is about. Mm-hmm.
that's right. That's right, baby. That's right. That's right. And you know what? I'm so delighted that the universe put us together, and it's a blessing to have such a beautiful, knowledgeable woman like yourself, and knowing what you know, because you really, that's, I'm telling you, that chalkboard. Yeah, yeah. I was like, yeah, she know what she know, and you're a good teacher. I like how you put the
Thank you.
format out there, and it helped me.
Thank
You
you.
know.
Thank you.
Mhm.
It's my mission, is my purpose to teach what I've learned and to share my wisdom. I was on the same journey. I wanted to understand who I am so I can show up in my authentic self, because this person that you see in front of you, I heard years ago. And I said,
Right.
who is she? How do I bring her into this existence? How do I let her express herself? And I started to follow the voice that was guiding me. And I made a covenant. I said, if you show me the way to her, the truth, to my authentic self, I'll write the
Mhm.
process down and share it with the world. And that's what divine alignment is. I teach what I did to transform, what I needed to learn.
Mhm. Man, I'm telling you,
And
that's a
now I'm
blessing.
here on these lives with you.
Okay. Vibing. We vibing, baby. We're gonna ride to the top though. You know? But listen, with that being said, we're gonna get out of here. And I tell you one thing, we gonna the next show we get together on, we gonna do imagination. You say you created this woman we looking at, we gonna get down in imagination.
Okay.
Keep that
All
in
right,
your
let's do
mind,
it.
and we gonna have a wonderful time on that, you know, because you know, when masculine and feminine energy get together, ain't nothing but a party. That's all it is. And we create beautiful things.
All right.
All right, Trinity. All right. We're gonna get up
Okay.
out of here.